Happy Friday. I'm gonna do something a little different today. I have a EP coming out in a few weeks. I'm gonna break down one of the songs from it and just like go through the production of everything. All right, so this track is called Underrated. It's gonna be a part of the EP called Underrated that's coming out on November 5th. I guess I'll just play it for you, and then we'll go from there. Maybe I should show you. Yeah, so this is the mix.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to get faded, and I would pretend that you were my baby, my lady instead. You made me debate all the things I regret. Yeah, yeah. When you share your bed, yeah, yeah. When you share regret, yeah. Wishing that I was your ex, yeah. Waste all of my time, I drank a case, whole case of wine. All my mistakes, all of my cons, they don't seem bad when I think you lost. Baby, you waste all of my time. Why do I still want you right by my side? Why would I kill for you out of my mind? Why would I die if you follow me blind? Don't text me, baby, don't test me. Gotta confess, feeling frustrated. You have me possessed, you touching is just you. Stuck in my head every day I live. So baby, don't text me, baby, don't test me. Don't you regret anything you did? You making me stress, just get out of my head. I'm feeling depressed, feeling underrated, yeah.
I shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph. Book and write it all down, look mental pictures we never had. Leave the lenses off, don't need that shutter speed. Keep the lenses off me, mental pictures in front of me.
I'm just gonna break some stuff down, and I'll start with the instrumental. So, I started, if I can remember right, with, I believe it was these chords. Yeah, okay, and so these are just the Addictive Keys Rhodes Mark 1. I always use the reel. Oh, you guys can't even see this. Oh, wait, is the screen's frozen. What the heck? All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is the Rhodes. We have this. A little lower, which has higher chords on it. And so they're basically just both, basically no processing, but instead I put them in a bus, I compressed them a little bit, took out some of that attack, I put a chorus on it, and then I use this Abbey Road tape. This is like one of my favorite plugins. It just like gives stuff really nice warmth. The idea is it sounds like tape, obviously, but I really like the wow effect that it has, and just the saturation knob is really nice. For example, so without the saturation, it's really subtle, but it kind of just adds like a nice fuzz. And then this wow is really nice too. So yeah, the delay is pretty cool too, though. But I just never end up using it. I think the next thing I probably added was some drums. So here's the drums by themselves. So with the keys, just to get a better idea of what I was looking for over on keys. So with drums, I usually, like, my process when I make a beat, which if you've watched the last couple streams you probably realized, is I usually start with a melody, something melodic. It could be a loop, it could just be like a simple lead melody that I can add two chords to later, but just like get a vibe. I can make drums and I can start with drums, and I've done that before, but I like to make my drums match the melody, and when I start with a melody or just a melodic element, I match the rhythm of the drums to that melodic element a lot of the time. I don't know. It's just like having the vibe of the song that's going to happen always helps me kind of figure out where I want to go with the drums and like what kind of samples I want to use. Hey, Future Gabe here. I was editing and I realized I messed up the audio when I was breaking down the kick and snare, so I'm going to do that again real quick. I used the amphetamine kick from the Monty Booker pack just for the low end, so all I really did was cut out a little resonance down here around 100 hertz just for this. And then I added this Anita kick from the same Monty Booker pack on top. I used a little radiator for some warmth and some distortion, and I EQ'd out the low end, boosted the highs a little bit, and ended up with this. There's also a little bit of slap delay on the whole thing, just for a little more space on that kick. So that's a kick. I also have a little room reverb on there. And then the snare, my main snare is this Scott Storch snare I use a lot. It sounds really nice and crunchy. I'm not sure why I didn't EQ this. I usually EQ out the lows because they're just not necessary to have, so I'll do like a cut like this. I didn't hear. It didn't really end up affecting the mix too much. So, and then I layered it with this Anita clap that's playing a tiny bit before the snare hits, so it kind of gives this whooshing effect, and I just threw a slap delay on it. Again, no EQ, not sure why, but that's just how it went. So that clap just makes it a little wider. And then on some of the hits, I have this clap that's just outputting sends only. So I've got it sent to mostly the spring verb, which is like a high feedback reverb that sounds really good, and a little bit of this pitch verb, which I'll talk about later. So that's all of them. Here's what the send sounds like. Yeah, so that's these three reverbs here. But yeah, that's a kick and snare. Back to you, past Gabe. I usually start with kick and snare, and I'll move on to hats. I have a couple different ones. We've got this shaker. If I ever want to change the transients of something, I'll usually just put it on warp mode beats and then put it to either transients if the transients are already defined well, or put it on the I can't even figure out what the word is. That's okay. Just have a degree in this. The beat division. That's what I was looking for. The division that I want. The beat division that I want. And then this little guy right here kind of controls how long it is. So I just dial it in to where I want. And then I also put a groove on, which is what gives it the swing. And then I added these hats, which are just quarter notes, it looks like. So this is a 8th note swing, and this is quarter notes. It's a super simple drum pattern. There's like really nothing going on. There's barely any variation, aside from maybe a few cuts in there. But it ends up sounding pretty nice with everything. So at this point, when I'm making a song, I usually will go for bass, but kind of just depends on the song. Like sometimes the initial melodic element that I put in, like I just need more to it. So I'll often add things like a lead or some more rhythmic stuff. Like this is I don't even know what to call it. Just a little synth I made. I started with this guy. It sounds like this. It's a Contact player. I don't even remember making this. I don't know. I don't really ever use Contact. I've been using a lot more of just Ableton's Wavetable and the Rhodes plugin, like you saw on the other thing, and then samples. So I made a sidechain here. swing sidechain, and I sidechained it to this filter, which gives it that like swing. I honestly don't even know what these are for, but let's find out. So without that, so that's what it sounded like, and then I sidechained it to the swing sidechain again. I sidechained a compressor to it. Changes the transients quite a bit, that including sidechaining it on the downbeat and on the clap. So every half note we get that rhythm, and then I bounced it out, so I have a octave down and an octave up, and then I just put this tape on it again, some more chorus, and then some delay. This Ultra Tap plugin is really nice. This whole thing, this whole H9 plugin pack, I actually got from Kenny Beats, believe it or not. I got second place in a beat battle a few years ago, and yeah, that was my reward. So I use these plugins all the time. Ultra Tap is especially nice. This is the stereo spreader preset, which is basically just like a split delay. It's not actually adding delay, it's just making it wider. That with looks like a really loud slap delay with decently high feedback. Just gives it a lot of space. And then with everything else, yeah, so it's a vibe. And the bass is, really simple. I usually don't do too much to bass, just, a little bit of compression and distortion and EQ. But this is like just as simple as the chords. It's like the most simple thing I could play. But that's just what I was feeling, and it sounded really good, especially in contrast with the next section. Put some EQ on it. Get rid of the lows and some of the annoying highs. Not all the lows, just the ones that don't matter. And then push down the fret buzz a little bit. And I really like this Renaissance Axe compressor for guitars. I use it all the time. Bumps up the loudness. Some distortion. Looks like we did one bright tube distortion. No EQ, no nothing. Takes away a little bit of that thump, but gives it a nice bright high. And this is going to give it that thump back. So the tone's all the way dark. I put a high cut on. That's what it sounds like after this. Again, it's subtle, but like that's what most mixing things are like. Everything together again. So that's the verse section. That was the first thing I made right after making like that 8-bar loop. I made this section here, which is the chorus section. There's a couple things in here that are different. First off, a new instrument gets introduced. Not a new instrument, but a different thing played. And then there's a bunch of this pitch verb. Gives it this like descending feel. Here, I'll just show you. So super spacey, super vibey. This is what the pitch verb sounds like on its own. And you can hear the clap or the snare coming through that too. So I put some stuff on it, but it just like gave it this super cool spacey feel, especially with the like descending pitch on the reverb. It's the same contact instrument and without any of the effects. Like ridiculously simple. Everything back on. Just sounds so good. And it's like pretty much the same setup. I've got the tape and the chorus, and that's it, with some EQ. And then I just slapped a bunch of crazy reverbs on it. Yeah, there's a bunch of automation stuff in here too that I'm not really going to go over because it would take me hours. And then I just change the bass too, make it a little more rhythmic, add some octaves here and there, and just like totally change the vibe. I think that bass line is like my favorite part about the song, and it's like so simple that even I can play it, and it just hit. And especially like coming after this section with the sustained bass, it just sounded so good. I'll just play that transition real quick. Oh, my computer's on the fritz. I didn't get this computer that long ago, but I already feel like I need an upgrade with some of these songs. Like, I don't know how many tracks are in here. Only 35. Well, let's see after vocals. Okay, that's more like it. 93 tracks. So that's kind of what happens at the end of a song process for me. It's like it's hard to work in, and I end up having to export a bunch of different buses, and like it just becomes a pain whenever I need to add stuff to a song when it gets like this. But you know, that's how it goes. It's crazy how just like changing the bass up, giving it some more space, and adding one instrument makes it just like so much of a different vibe in a really good way. Go over the intro real quick, and then I'll check out the vocals. So you can probably hear that as I move the play thing around. But we have this vinyl cassette transport combination. It gives it this cool like cassette machine sound. This plugin I'm pretty sure it's free. And yeah, you can change the rotor volume. That's what that is. The switches volume is like this noise, and it gives it this cool like rewind effect, which I'll show you. Yeah, so you see how it like slows down into the intro, into the drop. I mean, if you hear that in my songs, it's probably this cassette transport plugin, or sometimes I use the vinyl spin down, but that's probably what that is. All right, so let's go over the vocals. I'll start with the chorus.
Baby, don't test me, gotta confess, feeling frustrated. You have me possessed, you touching is just you, stuck in my head every day I live. So baby, don't text me, baby, don't test me. Don't you regret anything you did? You making me stress, just get out of my head. I'm feeling depressed.
I'm pretty sure I recorded it not on this mic, but a mic that I had previously, the 2020, the AT2020, which is, I had it for like 6 or 7 years, and it wasn't shitty, but it just like was not an amazing mic. This isn't the best mic either. I think it's the AT35 or AT45 or something, but it's a lot cleaner of a sound. It's still not amazing or anything, but it gets the job done. There's 4 stacks. This is the main vocal.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me. Gotta confess, feeling frustrated. You have me possessed, you touching his chest.
I'm gonna turn off all the effects. Yeah, so it's a really simple vocal chain. Some EQing just to take out the problem frequencies.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me. Gotta
kind of thins it out a little bit. Sorry, let me turn all these off.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me. Gotta confess, feeling frustrated. You have me possessed.
It's super subtle. Again, it just thins it out a little bit and gets rid of some annoying resonances. Annoying to me anyways. I love using the SSL channel plugin. I just use the Wave stuff because I got their subscription. Their high-end sounds great. I didn't brighten it too much for this recording because I kind of wanted that like dull bedroom pop vocal style. I didn't really do much. I turned down the low end from like 150, and then I did some fast compression. I always do this, is I do a quick compression combined with a little bit of a slower compression.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me, gotta confess.
So you can kind of hear it's just kind of like barely brightening it a little bit, getting rid of some of those lower end bands, and then lowering those initial transients a little bit.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me, gotta confess, feeling.
Throw on another compressor. This is RVox. It's a nice compressor. I started kind of moving away from it a little bit more. I've been using the 76 compressor more, just because you have control over the attack and release. But it sounds good, and when I'm doing something quick, it's awesome for that.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me, gotta confess, feeling frustrated, you have me possessed, you.
Next thing was auto-tune. I just use Waves Tune, again, because I have the Waves subscription. I didn't do a lot of auto-tune on this because, you know, I wanted it to sound kind of out of tune with the other stacks.
Text me, baby, don't test me, gotta confess.
But just clean up some of those flats. Then a de-esser, really simple. Just
text me, baby, don't test me, gotta.
And then I did all these stacks. As you can, like, I took off the auto-tune on this one, and then these two also have auto-tune, but.
Text me, baby, don't test me, gotta confess.
So that's what it sounds like all together. This is these two stacks. Again, it's like the exact same processing.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me.
And same thing over here. Just made it bigger and wider.
Don't text me, baby, don't test me.
But yeah, no harmonies or anything. I'm just literally recording the same thing a bunch of times and putting on top.
Don't text me, baby.
These vocal, this is the first verse.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we used to get faded, and I would pretend that you were my baby, my lady instead. You made me debate all the things I wrote.
So I actually recorded this verse with a 57, and it ended up, I just liked the sound of the recording, and I couldn't really get a better take. There's quite a bit of processing here.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to get faded, and
I took a bunch of that boxy low end out.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to.
SSL channel, again, with a bunch of high end boost.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to get.
De-esser.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends.
This one I use a 76. I'm not super high on the attack because I already clipped those initial transients, and then I didn't want it to sound too overly compressed, so I didn't have the release all the way up either. CLI compressor.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends.
It's not pushing it super hard. Next up, we got auto-tune. Again, not super pitch corrected because it's layered with these stacks, and I like the out of tune kind of sound. And then I use this plugin a lot called Fresh Air. The one time I've ever actually gotten studio time, the engineer used this plugin, and I was like, what the hell is that? It's like, oh dude, it's like a free plugin. So I got it, and it just adds really nice crispiness to stuff.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to get faded, and I would pretend that you were my baby, my lady instead. You made me debate all.
It's usually used pretty subtly. I usually don't push it this hard. For this vocal I did because I used the 57, and I wanted to get some brightness, but it's so crispy, and it kind of sounds super ultra compressed when I put this on, which is why I didn't push it too hard with the 76. De-esser, again, super straightforward, and then the only really effects are this slap delay and some reverb.
Don't have to call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to get faded, and I would pretend.
And then the stacks, essentially the same exact processing on both of them.
Call you my ex, cause we never dated. You said we were friends, we used to get faded, and I would pretend that you were my baby, my lady instead. You made me debate all the things I regret. When you should.
And then this is just the yeahs. I wanted it to sound wider than the rest of the vocals, so I processed it a little bit differently, but essentially the same thing going.
Debate all the things I regret. Yeah, yeah. When you share your bed. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, these stacks are just all the way spread out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
There's a delay in this hook that I really like, so I put Fresh R on the whole thing. And then this hook has a automated delay that I did. I did some automation here, which was make the sound wider.
Text me, baby, don't test me. Gotta confess, feeling frustrated. You have me possessed, you touch.
Yeah, so that's just an LFO pattern. just gives it some like more vibes basically. Like I think the reason this track sounded so vibey is because of all these little automation things I did. Just like slow changes and things over time really kind of give it that like that Tame Impala feel. A dry wet on this compressor, that's sidechain to the dry vocal, and so during these sections, as we get to the end of this 4-bar, the delay comes in more and more, and so it just kind of.
You have me possessed, you touching is just you, stuck in my head every day I live. So baby, don't text me, baby.
So I got my good friend Steve on this song. Steve Lovelates is his artist name. He's all over this project. Me and him are really like the only people on the credits. Alright, so let's go over Steve's vocal. It's pretty much the same processing. I used RVox.
I shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph. Book and write it all.
So yeah, I mean it's like a super similar process. His voice I think is naturally a little more thin than mine in a really good way. So I don't usually have to push down the low end as much, especially since he was using a nicer mic. See, yeah, I push the low end down a little bit, but not crazy. Push the highs up. There's like a mid frequency I push down with the E channel. Here, let me turn all this off and show you.
Shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph. Book and write it all down, look mental pictures we never had.
So yeah, his voice just like naturally sounds a bit thinner, and that's kind of how I wanted the vocal style to be. So he was really good fit for this song, and it meant I didn't really have to do as much processing. We've got a little more auto-tune on him. I think it just fit better because not like clearly he was singing it fine, but it just fit better in the context of the song, like having a little more pitch correction. RVox.
Shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph. Book and write it all down, look mental pictures we never had.
So yeah, like he's singing good, and in this section I think I just wanted it to sound a little bit robotic to contrast with all of my vocals, you know. RVox, de-esser, and then fresh air again.
Shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph. Book and write it all down.
And then, you know, I put a couple stacks of that main take. I'll call it the main vocal.
I shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph.
The only effects we really got are slap delay and a couple delays. There's a lot of automation going on with this verse because I just wanted it to feel like it was swelling.
Don't need that shutter speed. Keep the lenses off me. Mental pictures in front of me.
That delay just like gives that section a lot more. The rest of this group here is just a couple harmonies on those sustained notes.
Leave the lenses off. Leave the lenses off.
And then there's this low take here.
I shook out my head, took what you said like a photograph.
Basically the exact same auto tune. Let the low end boost a little bit, but everything's the same, it looks like.
Leave the lenses off.
Just another kind of spacey stack. I think there's some libs here.
My head, you said. My head took what you said like.
And then there's a couple high takes.
Leave the lenses off. Don't need that shutter speed. Leave the lenses off. Don't need that shutter speed.
When it's all stacked together, it just sounded super huge, and that's what I was going for this kind of outro thing, because it was like so spacey and vibey, so I just had him put a bunch of harmonies on there and make it sound really big. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's like the whole song. It's coming out November 5th. You can check it out in the link in my Twitch bio. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description. You can pre-save it now. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.